Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brown Water Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
That's right. We got a good show lined up for you in the studio, man. We got Christian from Light Tackle Central. Did I get that right? Yeah, Light Tackle Central. He's going to be joining us this evening to talk about his the lures and stuff that he's making, how he got his start in the business, why he's doing it. It's going to be a great conversation, man. We're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, we are going to thank the people that keep the lights on for us over here at the Brown Water Studio. Right out of the gate, Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. 2024 is the year to smile more. So if you're looking for a great local dentist, he's located on Washington Avenue right over here in Ocean Springs. You can look him up on the socials at Southern Magnolia Smiles on Facebook and Instagram. And when you're ready to book that consultation, just give him a call at 228-215-1202 and tell him that Brown Water sent you. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, Taylor & Cox Law Firm has been practicing law on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for over 30 years. This is Tyler right here in the photo, man. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. If you need somebody to fight tooth and nail for you, give them a call, 228-696-0111. Rocky over at Sea to Swamp. We were just talking about Rocky before we went live. I think some of your stuff's over there. You can look them up on Facebook. See the number 2 and then Swamp. He's got your tackle and apparel needs covered. He's slinging kayaks. He's got brown water gear over there, rods, reels, baits, lures, you name it, man. Go check him out and stop by, shop local. Look him up again on Facebook. See the number 2 and then Swamp. If you find yourself lethargic and you can't get off the couch, you're too lazy, you have no energy to get back into the gym, Forever Young Men and Women's Health. Check them out on Facebook. Look them up. Kendrick is the professional over there, man. Place your healthcare in the hands of a professional. Let him do some lab work on you. Let him see if you're vitamin deficient in anything. Let him see if you're hormone deficient. He specializes in testosterone replacement for both men and women. So when you're ready to get back to feeling good and being healthy, give him a call and book the consultation with him as well. 228-363-6623. We have in just a couple of weeks coming up, the crew of Neptune is putting on their inaugural Smoking the Coast barbecue competition, September 27th and 28th at the Great Lawn, which is that big open field on Highway 90 right in front of Harrah's, right there in Biloxi. 280 Beach Boulevard, if you want to be specific. They're doing it's part of the Memphis Barbecue Network, so it's a real competition. It's a legit event.
Sanctioned.
The sanctioned event. That's a great word. They're going to have the pros on one side, or one category, and then the Joes, or the average guys, which they're calling the patio division. That's right. Competing in their own little side hustle there to see who's the best. They're also going to have a kids division where they're cooking 2 pork chops. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be live entertainment. They're going to have bands there. They're going to have food for sale. They're going to have frosty alcoholic beverages. So it'll be a good time. So if you're looking for more information on that, just type in Smoking the Coast on Facebook. The event will come up, or you can shoot a message to the crew of Neptune as well. But all the information is right there in the Facebook event. So it's going to be a good time. So go check it out. And bringing up the rear, I guess that's the weekend before the barbecue cook-off.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, September 21st, which this month's already flying by. Yep. September 21st, it's going to be the inaugural Hook 'em for Heroes fishing competition, which is or fishing tournament. It's a tournament for to benefit local first responders and the military, and it's going to be put on at the Pass Christian Harbor on the east side. It's open to the public. They're going to have live music, cold drinks as well. They're going to have vendors set up. It is a fishing tournament, so they got 3 different categories: trout, redfish, and triple tail. Mandatory captain's meeting if you want to fish September the 26th at 6 p.m. That's going to also be at the Pass Christian Harbor. So sounds like a good time, family friendly as well. Registration ends on the 20th. So hopefully you got enough time still, as you hear this, to go register and fish if you want to. The payouts are going to be all the same for each category: $1,000 for first, $500 for second, and $250 for third. So you can email or go to their website. It's probably the easiest way to do it. It's hookemheroes.com. hookemheroes.com, and you can register and fish. So that wraps it up.
Yep.
Beat you again.
No, every day.
Yeah, it's too many groups. But anyway, so man, thank you so much for stopping by this evening and talk with us. Where do we start? Like, how did you get started making lures, man? What's your background?
Yeah, well, absolutely. First of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm a listener, really like what you guys are doing with the podcast, and excited to be a guest. So
thank you.
I guess a long story. I don't know how to.
We got a lot of time and a lot of bourbon,
right.
so let's dive into it.
Let's do it. I don't know where to start, but basically, I'm just somebody who my entire life I've just loved everything about fishing and the
born and raised on the Gulf Coast.
That I've lived on the coast since I was 4. and then the last actually 6 years I was in Colorado, but I'm back now. So
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. So kind of explain how all that happened. And, but just always loved fishing. And I realized, as I was growing up, I didn't really care what kind of fish I was catching or even like how big or small it was. I just wanted to catch something. And, so, in high school and college and after college, I worked in the industry a little bit. I was, for some, smaller companies, and in college, I was on the Ole Miss fishing team. And so just got a lot of industry experience and, did a lot of networking those years and just kind of kept in touch with a lot of those people. And then over the years, just kind of learned how I guess things worked in the industry.
Yep.
And, combined that with my passion for fishing and I guess all the different techniques I've learned over the years, as I mentioned, like living in Colorado or, kind of traveling all over, kind of put together an idea of some, lures that could kind of catch anything. And that's really kind of how it all started. And to, I guess, elaborate a bit on lures that can kind of catch anything, as I mentioned, like I'm somebody who I don't really care what kind of fish I'm catching.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Maybe it was like high school, college or so. I read an article about a guy who had caught, 500 different kinds of fish and living most of my life on the Gulf Coast here. One day I was like, oh, I wonder how many I've caught. And, it was maybe 50, 60 something. And I said, well, can I get to 100? And then it kind of exploded from there. And so I'm always trying. I have a list, and I'm always trying to add new species to it. And at this point, I'm up to like 240 or something across the world, I guess you could say. And and that really helped me. Learn different techniques and realize, like, you go to any store anywhere, there's going to be thousands of lures, but you can really catch a fish kind of anywhere with a handful. And I kind of started with those types of designs, the most versatile designs that can be used anywhere: saltwater, freshwater, cold water, warm water. All of these lures here, the small ones have caught bass, redfish, trout, rainbow trout, in Colorado. And so they've all kind of caught everything. And that was the point. And not only that, just a lure that usually on the smaller side, because like I said, I like to just go catch fish. So, let's say you're targeting big fish, you may go out and not get many bites all day, but you might catch one or two big fish. And sometimes if you downsize, you'll get a lot more bites. And that's kind of the point of these lures. The Light Tackle Central is smaller size lures, but with extra strength single hooks on there. So I got the designs for small lures that could kind of catch anything, but in case a big redfish or big something nails a 2-inch jerk bait, you've got hooks on there that are strong enough to land that fish. And so that's really kind of what it came down to.
Yeah, you mentioned about like lure design, and I know, like, for me, you think of like a lure, you think this is for freshwater, this lure is for saltwater, this lure is specifically for that. But are you saying, like, you notice, and that's kind of your approach to it, is that it's not necessarily true, or doesn't have to be true?
It doesn't have to be true. That's a great way to put it. A lot of fishermen, myself included, in some ways, kind of they've used a certain technique most of their life, and so they just kind of tend to stick to that, right? But over the years, like fishing in different areas and like learning all these new techniques or targeting different fish, like I just bring a tackle box of what I have, and I'll just try it, and I see, this catches anything. And so my mentality has kind of shifted to a fishing lure is a fishing lure versus like it's specifically
this
not
lure.
A bass
this is
lure.
my mirror lure that I only throw on Sundays.
Yeah.
This is my top water that I only throw.
And so that's the point, is just I want somebody to look at, let's say 3 people look at this lure. I want them to think it'll catch 3 different fish. One person may say, oh, that would catch bass. Certainly would. Or another person might say that'll catch trout, and that's very true. So, that's what I wanted. So I didn't want it to didn't want to narrow them down. Tried to kind of make them versatile and just something that people see, it could go for anything.
Yeah. Well, that crossover is really, really important, especially in right down here in the brackish water, because there's a lot of crossover, especially past School River, stuff like that. You'll throw a bass plug and catch redfish, trout, or you'll throw, a gulp or something like that and catch bass on it. So the crossover is definitely pivotal down here for sure.
Yeah, in the Pasco River, that's where I noticed it first. Like just what he's talking about. Like one cast, literally catch a bass, next cast speckled trout at the right time of year.
Right.
So
that's it.
To have a lure that's versatile for both. I mean, that that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah, and same thing. I grew up in Gulfport, and you can do the same thing in Biloxi River there, or Jordan River, down the road, and so that's really what it's all about.
Now, you mentioned that you were on the Ole Miss fishing team. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So,
yeah.
So what year would that have been? Because I'm Joey. When they start at the high school level, having fishing teams? Because I didn't really realize.
I started the one at D'Iberville 5 years ago, and Rivers at St. Martin had it before that. So he's probably 7-8 years into it.
Okay. What do you know when it would have started at Ole Miss? Like I did not know they had a fishing team.
Yeah. That's still pretty much what people say every time I mention it, even back then. But it's not a big thing, and I don't know how active it is currently. But I think it probably started 3 to 4 years before I got there. So I got there 2011, so it probably started 07, 08, something like that.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's freshwater just because
it's
of
bass.
Fishing team. It's bass tournaments.
Okay.
Bass tournaments. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were trying to in Louisiana put a redfish circuit on there for the high school teams, which would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
so they're all bass tournaments, right?
The high school one's all bass.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
I forgot about that.
Bass Tactics.
Right.
All that's high school tournaments. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So definitely have the background and passion for fishing and being on the water. You said Colorado. I didn't think rainbow trout right out of the gate. I think Colorado thinks snow and mountains and not fishing, right? What's it like out there? How long were you there?
I lived there for 6 years. So, after Ole Miss, I moved back to the coast. Was here for a little bit, and we, my wife and I, moved out there. We just kind of wanted to try something different and realize, we can always move back home, and
for sure,
and have always loved it out there. So we're very glad we got the experience out there. And the fishing's really good. It's there's not as much water, obviously. I mean, but even if you just take the landlocked part of Mississippi, with excluding the Gulf, there's a whole lot more rivers, lakes, and all that than in Colorado.
It's a lot of brooks and streams and stuff, correct?
There's a lot of small water in Colorado, a few bigger lakes, but the fishing is cool. I learned, I did some fishing stuff I never thought I would do, learn how to fly fish pretty well. And but also we got into ice fishing, and that turned out to be a ton of fun. I wasn't expecting that. But I really like doing that.
I've watched the videos. That looks cool, bro. Setting a little teepee and drill a hole and then eat and then catch a fish.
I guess.
If you have the right setup, it can be very comfortable.
Okay. Okay. Now I've done fly fishing, but on the creeks and stuff around here. So light tackle, which is when I saw your name, that's the first thing I thought of. And it's super fun.
Takes a lot more technique than
for sure,
regular.
For sure. And it's a whole different fight now.
It is,
because on the light tackle around here, you're kind of hand lining it in. I don't know. I'm sure rainbow trout, big trout, you would reel, I guess. I would assume.
Yeah, if you get into one big enough, but
for the most part, it's still like hand lining it in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Cody, thanks for the comment, and also if that was stars in the comment there, we appreciate that as well for throwing those out there.
So after you got out of the fishing world in Ole Miss, did you kind of design? Did you have sketches or anything like that, or you just put this together in your head?
Yeah. How do you go from I like to fish to I'm going to create lures?
Correct.
Big curve, I would think.
It is, right? And so really, I guess just over the years, just continue to fish everywhere I went, pretty much, and pretty much these days, anywhere I go, I bring a pole and just kind of took a similar style of some of my favorite lures, or lures that I've noticed, this same lure called a peacock bass in Florida in a largemouth here, and then in Colorado rainbow trout or whatever. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool, and that can kind of catch anything. And so for just for example, like a 3-inch jerkbait, I've caught fish all over the place with it. It's just a small presentation that looks like a little bait fish, and to to any kind of fish, it looks like something they want to eat. And so basically I just took that idea, and said, okay, well, I want to make, a 3-inch jerkbait, a 2-inch jerkbait, and the rest of the style lures, and just worked on designs and like tested them for like months, maybe a year or so, like to make sure they swim right. They swim right with the single hooks, and just kind of refine them over the years, and then just work on colors that are, that'll catch fish, but also could work anywhere as well. So, you know, just
clear water, dirty water, all that stuff.
Yeah. So all the colors we have are pretty standard. You know, we've got some natural ones, but then a couple of bright ones in each line. And so, basically just refining designs based on lures that, are out there already. So
what type of lures do you have? Because like I know one of the things, like when we first started this, if you remember, I was started researching like how to pour baits, right? Because I'm thinking like, what's a product that we can put out? Under the brown water name, right? So I love going down a rabbit hole on anything like that. So I'm watching guys pour baits and the molds that they use and the technique and all that, and came to the conclusion that I wanted nothing to do with that. That wasn't going to be the route I was going, but it did look cool. So what different styles do you have?
Mm-hmm. So I have really, you can break it down into 2 categories. I've got metal jigs and hard plastic baits.
Okay.
I've gotten enough burns from soft plastics to where I don't want to mess with that right now.
Right.
You've probably been there. So so our hard baits, these are a couple of them here. I've got a 2-inch jerk bait and a 3-inch jerk bait, 3-inch twitch bait, and then a couple others, a little crankbait about 2 inches, and a little topwater, a little walker that's 2.5 inches. So small,
so they are
on the small side.
Small.
Yeah. And then the metal jigs, we've got these here. So these we call micro slow pitch jigs. So, but again, like I tested designs over the years to make it extremely versatile. So these, you look at that and say, okay, maybe that something traditionally like these bigger jigs, you drop it to the bottom and you work it from there, right? Well, these kind of have like a little groove in it. So, I mean, you can throw it out and work it like a spoon and it'll wobble a little bit, or you can just kind of bounce it. Like there's all kind of ways you can use it. And so we've got these, and this is the 20-gram size. We've got 10, 20, and 30 in these. And so that's the small stuff. And then the big stuff I say are these here. So we've got vertical jig, and the one here, that's a 200-gram. We also have them in 150. And then the one behind it there is
I forgot that one's even there.
Is just a regular slow pitch jig.
And cover his face up.
Yeah. Otherwise it will not zoom in on it or focus on it. I mean,
that's all right. And we've got those in 100 and 150-gram sizes.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
There it is.
Okay, so that's like a metal spoon, right? Did I see that right?
It's like a jig. It's like, remember what James was talking about, slow pitch?
Mm-hmm.
Throw it down there and literally just let it sit there in deep water, and then it just spins around. And now this is more amberjack. I'm thinking dropping down, jigging it back up. Looks like it's got a little glow in the dark paint on the back of it. So that's typical like amberjack, something like that.
Exactly. Amberjack, tuna, crush that. The other you can, like slow pitch, you kind of work it more slowly. You drop it down, you lift up and just kind of drop like that, and it flutters down versus the vertical jig that you're kind of doing the action on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So like you said, I mean, you've got some that are for what you could say are freshwater, and then some, like Joey's saying, amberjack, more saltwater design, right? Like
you're gonna use. I don't know if you could use these in freshwater. I haven't been as many places as you, but these are probably more.
Well, not the freshwater that we think of. I'm sure there's plenty of places where it could.
There's a place where it could be used, but not. It's not traditional freshwater.
These are going to be more strictly your saltwater stuff.
Yeah.
But so I want to get into like again, like going from I like to fish to like manufacturing these products. Like, how does that work? How do you, I can understand pouring a soft plastic bait. That makes a little bit of sense to me, but these, can you walk us through that process?
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Like, as I mentioned, I guess we can start back in high school. I worked for, summers I'd work for a fishing company and just do anything I could to try to just get to know everything about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I would always go to, a fishing convention called ICAST, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all been, but
like Joey was telling you before we went live, Justin, who we rent this place from,
he's got a box right out there that says ICAST.
Yeah, he's well in. He should be in here with us.
Well versed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Justin.
So I went to ICAST, or I go regularly, but back then, I started to just meet a lot of people in the industry, and I learned that a lot of people in the fishing industry don't change industry as much, and so I've gotten to build relationships over several years now, maybe 15 or so years, and just over those years, just talking to people, hanging out, or I'm doing pro staff stuff for companies,
right.
Just talking to them and just kind of learning how it works, and then figuring out manufacturers to work with, and
right.
So once I kind of figured that out, I said, okay, well, maybe this is something I could do, because I always kind of always have something that, like, some kind of side hustle that I'm working on, but basically just to buy extra fishing gear. And
it's a hobby. It's a hobby.
And so I, once I kind of figured it out, I'm like, well, I guess I could do this myself. And so from there, I started, several years ago, started researching what manufacturers to talk to, and that, that's a very long process, and just trying to figure out the right ones, ins and outs and all of that, and then finally got to a place where we've got a great manufacturer that's really helping a whole lot, and in a good place with it. And so from there, we're able to kind of pull the trigger and get things launched. Started officially last December, so almost a year now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Cody wants to know if there's any recommendations on a good fly rod. He said he's got a state record to break, 4.12 gaff top.
Nice.
I don't know if
it probably would. Yeah.
Any recommendations on fly rods? I got nothing. I got a Walmart combo.
Mr. Richard Smith selling some fly rods right now, some good ones too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about a fly rod.
Man, fly rods are expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just, I guess, depends on how much you want to spend.
Right.
I mean, Orbis makes good ones. Sage makes ones I really like.
I always compare them to pool sticks.
Mine was the 19.
Like, you can buy a $20 pool stick, or you can buy a $500 pool stick.
Mine was probably the 1999 Walmart combo special that came all together with.
Tell him to look up Mr. Richard Smith. He's still got those for sale.
But that'll catch a gaff top. So whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so no, not to interrupt you, but so dealing with the manufacturers. So, like, how does that work though? Do you have a concept? Do you draw it up? Is it a color scheme? I mean, because they have, like, for lack of a better word, the plug itself. How does that work? A blank. There you go. That's what I'm getting at. Is that how that works?
So there are ways you can do that. You can start from a drawing and get a
like a CAD 3D something or another. Okay.
Yeah. So that's basically kind of what we've done, and or you can go to let's say, like, there are companies that, like, have just a big catalog of a bunch of blanks, and so if you want to start here, it's a little more simple. You can start from there, but then you run into, like, I may end up looking like something else, and so that's another thing you really have to work on, like, is making sure you've got something unique enough that stands out, doesn't really look like exactly like something else. So but there are two ways to do it. So that's one where you can kind of go to manufacturer and say, okay, what are OEM products that you've got, or kind of start from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always wondered, because it must be kind of lax in the fishing game, because there's a lot of lures that look exactly alike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you get away with say this is just throwing it out there, this is a whatever, an X shad, and this is mine, but they're exactly the same lure. You just put a new name on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's, that's true. I mean, well, I guess you just kind of have to do your research, and when you got a design, like, I mean, that's part of what I did. I mean, I had a design in my head, and a lot of it comes from, like I said, references of other lures I used, and I draw up a design and say, well, am I just drawing the exact thing that I've used before? And then you just kind of work on adjusting a little bit from there, make sure you've got something that's nobody else has. And so there is some research you got to do from that part too.
Is this are you full-time gigging this right now, or you got to?
Currently I'm not.
Okay.
It's
that's the goal.
Well, if it all works out, that could be pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. We're still trying to make this the full time.
Yeah. I mean, you got a full-time job. You got a wife at home, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And then you're drawing lures up all. You're busy man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be doing this anyway. So.
Right. Exactly. That's when you know, everybody's goal is to get paid to do what you love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're going to be doing this regardless if it's successful or not. So why not at least try to make a business out of it?
Yeah. Exactly. It's all just a lot of fun. Really.
So walk us through your first order.
Yeah, like what was it
when you first got it? When you'd open up on Christmas morning and then say, all right, now we're going to put it out to the public.
So I mean, first order is in like this shows up to the house.
Yeah, what's your logo and all
that to I'm holding something in my hand.
Yes, I mean, so that it happened. Let's see, last December or so. We were I was looking, like, I was watching the track and like seeing where that ship was every single day, and I'm like, I'm about to go on a trip to, we were coming back to Mississippi. We were in Colorado, and I'm like, I don't want these to land and when we're not here, and or I don't want them to land the day before and I launch it and then I'm gone for a week. And so luckily that was, there's a lot of stress leading up to that, because you just kind of never know how long it can take sometimes. And it all made it. And I was, up all night just getting it all ready. You're just real excited about it too. And had the site ready to go. And so, basically just made that live and was preparing. I had a few of everything before the main inventory arrived. And so, I was months and months ahead. I was taking pictures and just getting things ready and making some posts and just generating a little bit of buzz if I could. And so anyway, when it finally, everything made it, I was able to say, all right, it's here, and we had a few people that were interested already. And so we're able to sell a few in the first month, and it's just kind of slowly picked up from there. And, but yeah, still, it's still a long way to go, but but it was cool. It was cool being able to sell a few from people that I didn't know, that weren't like family or friends. It was also, it was awesome seeing family and friends buy it to support it, but it's even more cool when somebody you've never heard of.
Oh, that's the coolest part of the whole thing. Yeah. When you're just walking through the store and somebody's like, oh, that dude's got a brown water hat on, or somebody, you see somebody at a pier and he's throwing one of your plugs. You know what I'm saying? That's the coolest part of the whole thing, I think.
Yeah. It's real. Yeah. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But what was it specifically though? When you got that first order, was it one of your smaller baits there, or was it one of these?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Yeah. So I'll walk through
where you started.
The plan where we started. The first, what we launched with were all of these, all the small stuff.
Okay.
So this was a newer one, but we had the jerk baits, the little crankbait, topwater, and the 3 sizes of the small metal jigs. Mm-hmm. So we started with that. And when I moved back to the coast, how the bigger one started, when I moved to the coast, I, immediately made a few calls, and I wanted to get in front of people. And so I knew Robbie Carter who does the Billfish Classic. Yeah. So called him and, said, could I set up a booth, and was able to set up a booth there. And for that, I said, well, there's people they're there for bill fishing, and so
they're like looking at these, they're like
light tackle.
Maybe I'm off time.
Right. And I've also heard seen how expensive big jigs are getting these days. And so I said, well, let me let's get an affordable, really good quality jig and see what people think. And
all jokes aside, there's a lot of fishermen in that. That crowd, it ain't just billfish crowd, right? So it's a great crowd to be in front of.
That's very true, and so I had everything in front of everybody, but I wanted something bigger, kind of just to test it too, to see what people thought, and people loved it. They were real excited. I was getting pictures from tuna the next day, and all of it. So that's what it's kind of expanded to, I guess over the year, and that's where we are currently, and always looking to see maybe some stuff to add, but seems like people are really enjoying what we've got currently.
Yeah. Sometimes less is more. We've learned that too. Yeah. In the game, you know what I'm saying? You get too broad, then you got stuff you really don't need on there. So trying to trim the fat.
Yeah. And then it could
keep it up with inventory.
All that is, there's a lot to think about. So yeah, I'm slowly trying to grow, So.
Well, what about stores? You're in local stores now, right? Because we've seen your stuff kind of at Rockies. Can you walk us through that?
That's it. Yeah. So So we're in Cedar Swamp, Wicked Fish Bait and Tackle, and Willie's Fuel and Bait with Pat there. So 3 local shops. Those are the only ones I've started with currently, just because I live in Gulfport and they're the closest ones. Right. And one day I was fishing and we launched it right there by Willie's and gave him a lure, and he said, I want to, pick up a few. And so I mean, it was really cool of him to do that, and all the shops to kind of take a chance and buy a few. So, that was really exciting too, walking out of Cedar Swamp with the first store order. It was just really cool of Rocky to buy a few, and that was an exciting moment. And especially after that, when I'd call back or maybe left a comment on Facebook or something, said, a bunch of people have been buying them and or we're excited about it. And now, I dropped off a new order of hard baits there this morning. And he was telling me that somebody, so one other thing I kind of forgot to mention, but the prices on these are close to half of what the big box, big brands are charging, because I only sell to local shops or my online store. Okay. And so
you can kind of cut the fat there, right?
Yeah. And that was part of the plan from the beginning as well, because I didn't want to, a new lure brand that's the same price as Strike King or Rapala. Why would anybody,
right? We don't know who you are.
Yeah. So, and big box stores is just too much of a headache. Like I said, I've worked in the industry. I know how all that works, and I just wanted something small and fun. And so the price is very low. So somebody will pick this up and they might say, yeah, I've never heard of this, but this price is, low enough.
Why not? I'm losing money not buying it.
Let me try it.
I'm losing money not buying it.
Exactly. And that I guess it seems to be working, because Rocky's told me a couple of times now, somebody walked over to these and said, are these really good with this, this price point? And
yeah, I was going to say, because that's the only caveat to that is you worry about quality.
Exactly.
If it's cheaper, is it cheaper? Right. You see what I'm saying? Is it not going to hold up?
You're exactly right. And the reason, the reason these are cheaper, it's not because of the quality. It's because of there's 2 less markups from distributors and the big box stores. And so basically it's just factory price and
less hands in the cookie jar.
That's right.
That's exactly right. And so really all it takes is somebody buying it once and saying, okay, yeah, these are legit. And so Rocky said that same guy came back and bought a whole bunch more. And so that was just really cool to hear.
I mean, these right here can get outrageous.
Yeah.
Especially when you drop them down and then a shark takes it, and you drop it down again and a shark takes it.
I mean, $50.
Yeah. Right off the
butterfly. What does this cost right now if I go to Cedar Swamp to buy this?
$11.99, $12.
Okay. Well, yeah. And that sounds very affordable compared to what you would expect.
Well, you go to Shimano.
That's what I'm saying. Like
$24.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's ridiculous.
And those are, they've got great products. I'm not marking any of the big companies.
Right.
But, I just, I'm never going to be that size. And so this is why I can do it,
Yeah.
And I mean, and you're still eating off of this at that price point. You're still making money. I mean, you're still growing the business.
Yeah, a little bit. And again, it's not my goal to be a big company. It's just, my goal is to have fun and give back to community if I can, and be able to buy a new fishing pole when I want.
Yeah.
Did supplement your habit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Did you pick out all the, like the snap rings and you went through and picked all that stuff out?
Yeah. I picked all of it out. And, for example, why I picked those exact hooks, the barb on it is really small. Mm-hmm. And for blackfin tuna, a lot of the billfish guys, they'll use blackfin tuna for live bait.
Yeah.
And a big barb can, cut up their mouth and they'll bleed out. And so they really like these barbs on there, because they work and you can just easily get that hook out of the mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Let me see one of them again too, because I want to talk just say for instance for this one, tell me what this is right here. You showed it earlier, but what is this?
Yep, that's just a slow pitch jig.
Okay. And so when you go online to the manufacturer, you look at this, and can you walk me through all what you have? Because you're the design guy, right? It's just you. There's not a whole team behind
everything.
It's just you.
Me.
That's right. So yeah, right. Mm-hmm. When you look at the blank for this, I guess how many decisions are in getting this in my hand right here?
Yeah. Well, let's start with the easy stuff. The packaging we already got figured out. And
that's part of it too, right?
Yep. It took a while to make the box packaging, the sleeve packaging, but the lure itself, it's just it doesn't.
The weight, I'm assuming, right?
The weight, yeah, the weight we want to do, and why we pick the two sizes we have and everything, and but the shape is just something more, I guess, teardrop-ish.
Okay.
is going to be a slow pitch, and it doesn't have to be like an exact science on what the lure is shaped like.
Right.
And same with like the vertical jig, just something that kind of fits that profile that is in the right size and everything. So not a ton to it, but I don't know if you add all the little stuff up.
Well, like I'm thinking like on this one too, though, like color scheme, right?
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's you, right?
Yeah.
Color scheme, and then the weight of the hook, size of the hook, the like you said, this is a J hook here, right? Versus a circle hook versus a treble hook. I mean, that's all your decision to be made, right? As on the design end, right?
That's right. And with those like offshore jigs or whatever you want to call it, those hooks are kind of standard, like assist hooks or whatever. So
yeah,
that's kind of usually a standard hook for that type of lure.
Which
I like them.
Yeah,
I like them.
I think it's cool.
So you just go in there and pretty much pick the color that you want. So you'll do like the chartreuse and then the glow in the dark on the back or whatever color you're feeling that day, and then order some. Can you customize this? Like if I went up to you and said, hey, can I get this in a red and white? Are you able to do that yet?
Yeah. It's, customizing it is just, you kind of start over. You just have to buy X amount to factory order, to start. But yeah, we can do it. We can kind of do anything.
Yeah.
And Joe, already asked you about stores. I mean, what was that like to make, like, did you make a cold call? Did you already know Rocky? I'm sorry if you already answered that, but like, how was that with the 3 places that you're in? I know you said one of them you just launched by there, and it was like, hey, let me get your stuff. So,
yeah.
Because that's a whole another side of it too. That maybe
you got to sell yourself.
That's the part I'm getting at.
It is, and I thankfully have I guess a leg up from somebody who's never done it before.
Right.
Like I mentioned, I've worked in the industry and I've been in stores and sold fishing products before, and so kind of know how it works a little bit. But with Sea to Swamp, the first one, for example, I after I set up at the Billfish tournament, I set up at the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. So those two were like big events, and then people there were like, you got to get into Sea to Swamp or Wicked or all the local shops. And I said, I'm going to try, but let me get through these summer shows, because I don't know how many like I'm going to sell. Everything's brand new to me, and so that Billfish, not Billfish, the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo ended on Sunday. Monday morning, I called Rocky and said, hey, a lot of people mentioned your shop, and I, just a local guy. I've got some new lures, and I'd love for you to check them out. And he, like I said, it was really cool of him to say, yeah, because he could have just said like, no, I don't care. I got a shop full of great stuff,
right.
And I don't need anything new. And some people might say that, and I totally respect it. But it was, it was just really cool of Rocky to, like I said, kind of take a chance, and then just went in there and I kind of brought everything for him to take a look, and also helped. I learned a friend of mine was there, and he's like, you got to check out these lures. And so he said, he's like, I've actually heard about them. And so that was pretty cool that one of my friends did that.
Yeah.
But
seed in the water. I like that.
Oh, you had a hype man.
Yeah.
You had a hype man.
Yeah. I didn't even tell him to. So I definitely. Text him. I was like,
thanks, man.
Thanks. So what separates yourself from other liquor stores that sell, the liquor game's kind of, you got to do that kind of stuff to have something that's unique to your store, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things, like that's why we like working with Rocky and Mr. Mike over at Wicked Fish, because they're the smaller, not big box guys. But I think that's cool because you go in their store and you can see something like your brand in there,
right.
Or you can see Fish in the South or our stuff, or even Josh has got his stuff in there. Lemoyne, Casting Coastal.
What's not going to be in Academy?
To get in those stores,
Bass
it's like,
Pro.
I don't even really know how. We've talked to them before, and those are great guys. They support us too as well, the bigger stores. But it's just that's the difference. Is you go in there and you can see some guys, some up and coming brand that you haven't heard of.
That's it, and just like you said, Mike at Wicked Fish too. They're they both and Rocky and Pat and all the other local shops. They've got some smaller brands, and the smaller brands I love buying their stuff, and not only to support small businesses, which is great and so important, but that's where a lot of people are like still innovating a whole lot.
Right.
You know, some of the huge companies that
kind of on cruise control.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. You know, and so I love like, you know, the smaller companies are going to have some new stuff that's really great a lot of times.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Go ahead.
What's next, man? Where's the next step for Light Tackle?
Well, just keep going, I guess. You know, so right now, I mentioned, you know, I'm in 3 stores, and on our online shop. Next step in let's see, the next coming weeks, planning to launch on Amazon and continue to expand our store presence. So that's probably going to basically just continue with the plan, just online or local shops. And so you know, I'm in a few local shops now, but I don't want to expand too quickly because I would hate to be in a position where I've got shops calling and I'm out of inventory, and I say, well, it might take a few weeks, and that's not fun for anybody. So I'm just taking my time to make sure I can do everything right, and so just gathering, I guess, a lot of data right now, just seeing how you know, how quickly a store will go through an order, and once I've got that, then we'll maybe add another here, another there, and maybe next year we'll be in, you know, a few more, and just kind of keep going with it.
Your team's gonna have to get a little bigger, I'm thinking, right?
Maybe
what is
day.
it right now? Just you?
It's me.
One man band.
Slow and steady wins the race, baby. Now I was thinking, because you got like Ocean Springs Marine Mart, Mr. Kenny over there. I know he carries gear. Then also
Nelson's.
A
bunch of
a lot of great stores
nice
around here on the coast. And then also like the boat show would be a great.
Yeah, Miss Mary's probably going to text me here in a minute and be like, "Hey, he needs to be at the boat show."
Sure.
So
I'd love to.
Get you a booth there, and you'll get in front of everybody. You can come to our fishing tournament and set up there. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. We got the Sheep's Head Showdown coming up in a couple weeks. Weeks. October 5th. However long that is. So but definitely. That's cool to, you know, you got to plan. I think online obviously is the ticket for sure. I linked your Facebook page way earlier, but I also linked your website just now. Nice. But another aspect of the game that we haven't touched on yet that I'm sure you're probably noticing is like the marketing side, right? Which is getting into the stores and all that stuff. But what about like on the social media side of things and the marketing aspect? Once you got the product in hand, how do you get your name out there?
Blow it up.
It's different.
That's the fight.
Then that there's definitely a fight there. You know, when I first started and I was in Colorado, we had a lot of content, and but initially I put some money into, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all the ads and stuff, and didn't really get anywhere. And like, you know, 6-8 years ago, I was working running fishing company social media platforms, and those worked back then. You know, I had social media ads, and they just kind of don't anymore. And so it's really kind of back to square one, where good content is what's going to get you out there, which is also a good thing, but, you know, because it kind of separates you. You've got to push to get something good if people want to, if people are going to see it. And so, really, I've given away so many lures to just my network of people. And then, like, if I see local captains, if I'm putting in it, or, you know, like I gave a lure to Pat and just said, like, I know you fish and see a lot of fishermen, and, you know, here, take it and tell somebody. Or word of mouth is huge.
I would think trying to hit y'all's ring up of charter boat captains would be one way to get you guys, if not buying, at least talking about it, or showing the clientele that comes through, which, you know, I'm sure some of them are out of town, maybe they're not buying a lot of tackle, but either way,
if you run a charter boat, you buying tackle.
No, I'm saying the guests.
Oh yeah.
So
but
definitely,
the captains are great because even if their clients are not buying the lures, you know, the captains are out there every
talking
day
about it,
and they can talk about it, but they can give you excellent feedback. Like they're going to use the lure a lot more than anybody else, and get great pictures or video as well. But they're great for, you know, just getting feedback and telling you how it really works after, you know, 10,000 casts or whatever.
Yeah.
What socials are you attacking the most? Where are you going with that? Because you're younger than us, so where are you focusing all your stuff to now? Is it Facebook, YouTube? What are you doing?
Got all of them. You know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. What I like is YouTube seems to be doing well. I've done some shorts. I've done a longer video it's done well. And like I said, it's all about content. You know, if you just post a picture, it doesn't really go anywhere. But if you spend some time and put in a lot of effort to make a nice, you know, short for TikTok or YouTube, those seem to do the best, I guess. And so just trying to, but the biggest thing is just remembering, like, if you're fishing, like, take 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part because you're like, I don't know. I'm having fun. I don't want to pull the camera out right now.
Yeah. So, long story short, it seems like short videos for what I've done seem to do pretty well. For sure. I want to link real quick.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to show his website. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I see you told us today that you got your wife made you the shirt and the hat. Is merch in the future sometime? You thinking you're going to jump that way?
Yeah, I think so. So my experience as well, I've seen merch do very well and be a difficult thing for companies. But I think the big thing is you just have to remember you're not a hat company or a shirt company.
Right.
And so, we're going to get, the plan is definitely get some shirts or hats or whatever. And, but I'm not trying to sell $35 hat or $50, I don't know. I just, I don't even know how to, I don't know where to start with hats. It's a completely different industry, but I'll try if I can figure out, good suppliers and all that. We'll get all of it.
Yeah, I'm a flash real quick on the screen here your website, just so people can see what they can expect when they go there. It's very well done, and right there, as soon as you hit the page, I mean, you're looking right at the product there, and I'll scroll down for people. It's going to be a little.
So literally every plug you got's got a single hook on it. You don't never throw trebles, or you don't put trebles on there. Yeah,
no.
And did you say the reasoning behind that? Like for you, is that just a personal choice for you?
No, so. Well, I guess it kind of goes back to what I mentioned, like, smaller companies. And smaller companies, like kind of trying some new things. But what I've learned, fishing all over, and like I said, learning new techniques, I've noticed that trebles, I don't like them. They catch fish, but I've learned that singles do just as well, and if not better in a lot of situations. You've got a stronger hook set because, on a treble hook, it's got 3 points, and every point that is trying to get in, there's 2 more that are trying to get in and couldn't, it could leverage itself out. Or if you're netting that fish, they get stuck in the net.
I hate it.
Yeah.
We wade fish a lot, especially if it gets in the net. You might as well just cut the whole thing up.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you hook it to your back, or hook it to Jared when he's walking by. You know what I'm saying? It's just done.
Yeah. So that's a big part of it. And like you said, it's safer for the fish. It's safer for you. You're going to get hooked less. Still get hooked. They're very sharp still.
Oh, yeah. But it's a whole lot easier to pop one out than 6.
That's exactly right. And so
I'm cruising through your website here, and we got to talk about this 10 lure variety pack.
Yeah. That's the way to go.
With a box.
Yeah. So that was actually a hot seller when we first launched. People really like it. It just gives you a couple of everything to try, and
that's so cool.
Talk to can you go down the list of what's in it?
Of course. So you can see the picture there. Let's start on the far left, the white and red and silver. That's the 2-inch little crankbait I was talking about, and then the yellow and gold on top. That's the 2-inch jerk bait. Below that is the little topwater twitch bait, and then 4 one of every size, and then an extra of the micro slow pitch jigs.
Sweet.
I like that, man.
Rocky does a good job of that around Christmas time. Like he'll put a pack together and sell it like a stocking and stuff like that, man. And those are good things.
Yeah. And that's available for sale right now on the website.
It certainly is.
Yeah, sweet, man. I like it. I dig it. So where do we send people? Like Joey was saying, you're most active on Facebook. That's where I've linked to so far in the comments.
A little bit. I mean, anytime I post something, I post it on everything. But, all of it, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, it's all Light Tackle Central. Just one word, no spaces or hyphens or anything. And then the website is lighttacklecentral.com, and just try to keep it simple. And that's it everywhere.
Yeah. Do you answer messages on any of those, or what's the best way to get in touch with you? Email, call?
Any of it. Don't have a phone number on there, but send me a message on any of the socials or email on the site or whatever. I'll see it and get back to you.
Go in any of the stores that we mentioned and go check them out. And, demo it yourself. Like you said, extremely reasonably priced. Buy the box there and get the tackle box.
And then make some videos and send it to us.
Yeah, for real. Help them out.
Definitely.
Josh Harmon was in the comments earlier. Josh, see if you can get some catfish with somebody's topwater plug. I'm sure you could do it.
Yeah, man. But we would like you to come out if you want to come out for Sheep's Head Showdown and set up a booth right there. There'd be a lot of people hanging out there.
Yeah,
sure.
I've seen y'all promoting that, and I'd love to at least come out and just give some lures out. And,
be cool.
These we've caught a bunch of solid sheephead on these. So, you know, I'd love, I'd love for people to.
We'll have a pile of kids at this too. So that'd be the good ones to get to.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, Christian, we appreciate you coming out, brother. Kudos to you and what you're doing. I love watching somebody do something they're passionate about and get something off the ground.
A local guy.
Yeah, a local guy, and get it moving. So anything you ever need from us, don't hesitate. Like I said, Joey said, nailed it. Come out to the Sheep's Head Showdown and sling them out. Do whatever you want.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. And, you know, and it takes, this is what it takes, just people helping out. And,
that's right.
You know, like I said, I've been listening to the show, and I really like what y'all are doing and just helping out the local community. So
absolutely,
it means a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on.
It's our passion. We have a lot of fun doing it. And thanks for the bourbon as well.
Yeah,
Thanks for the bourbon. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching on the lives and the replay, man. Like I say, download the Brownwater Banter app if you don't have it already on your phone. It's free on the App Store and Google Play. It's got all of our stuff inside of it. You can stay up to date with everything we're doing, all of our tournaments, everything that we do live. You find out about it there. We send out a notification maybe once a day. Not even that much really, but
Sheep's Head Showdown registration going live this weekend. So
let me click on the calendar here so they can know exactly. That'll be the 13th, 14th, September 13th, 14th.
13th, 14th. That gives you about 3 weeks to register.
That's right.
We're going to be rolling.
Yep, that's brownwaterbanter.com if you didn't already know, and you can start registering for the tournament.
4 categories in a main.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be at Dewey Do Bugs. If we haven't already said that in a minute, we had the Bay Rat Bash there. We had a great time. It was fun. It's a good venue. I expect it to be fun again.
Yeah, we're going to have Charter Trash out there. Christian, if he shows up slinging his stuff, so we're gonna have a pile of people there.
It'll be a good time. So y'all stay tuned for that. If you keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them.
Later.